probably appear online live in some time.
All the best, buddy.
Yeah, so I have clicked on live, Suresh, and like I always say, and we should always start a little early rather than starting a little late.
Right. I'll start with deep breath in. I'll start with pranayam.
Yes, I'm sorry, I never heard that. Yeah, okay, so we are live now. We're live on Facebook and we're a little early, or maybe just bang on time.
Here we go. Super. Thank you, Sandeep. So here, hi friends, we are here again, offering professional, simple, effective tips to grow your business. Business has come to a grinding halt, right? Or altered or turned around. So many things have happened to our businesses. In a professional manner. Hi, good evening. I'm Suresh Menon from ValueAdditions, the unique sales augmentation company. And it's a pleasure to have you all joining in. Each and every person is here. More of it in a little moment from now. And as ValueAddition stands for sales augmentation, sales undergoing so much of process, so much of difference, so much of change. But today's sales is dependent so much on the other processes, whether it is sales stabilized, sales scaling up, or sales soaring up, or the creative communication services that we offer. Each of them are dependent upon the overall process that is being made for every company. That's where this comes into foray, the objective. So, Sandeep, as I was talking about sales and the topic of today, and as I was looking at that, I was thinking how much we are slaves of time, like human beings. We are actually, human beings are crunched by time, and we have no option, I guess. We have to find a divisive way how we can go away from the control of time. But one thing for sure, it's not about the time ticking. It's about the times that have changed so radically, isn't it? It's changed so much, and it's actually created a new world right on our face like never before. And oh, wait a minute, I just keep going on and on and on. I'm so sorry. Let me get my co-host panelist Sandeep Ohri up on board by saying
I didn't want to interrupt your major bhashan that you were going on. You were so much into it, and I'm like, what is wrong with him? I mean, this is not what the program is all about. But okay, it's okay. Please go on. You have some more bhashan. Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Yes, to hear me, deep breath, high. So I'm going to say the CA, technocrat, business strategist, digital guru, media expert, all of them rotate in Sandeep Ohri. And you know what, guys? If he's going to negate any one of these, he will be hiding the truth. See, Sandeep, I've checkmated you. Over to you, buddy.
Yeah, checkmate. From time you went to chess and I don't know what all. Okay, anyway, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of our ValueAdditions, and with our endeavor to bring you professional tips that can actually help you to grow your business. The objective of the program is very simple. What we aim to do is not give you gyan, okay, Suresh, and I'll discount your 30-second speech. So not give you gyan, but just to make sure that there are certain small things that you need to do, that you need to learn, different aspects of your business, which will help you, which you can actually do and implement as soon as this program is over. Like if you recall last time, we spoke about the kind of databases that you need to make sure that you have in place for your prospects, and when you're doing your sales prospecting, you need to have database. What all do you need to put into your database? And I do not know how many of you, a few of you have sent in a request to get their database templates checked, and we've done that. We also told you a few things about how you can make sensible PowerPoint slides, and a few tips on how you should actually make your slides. We got a whole lot of requests for that. A lot of people are doing PowerPoint slides. So I had a lot of work to do. So we actually reviewed a whole lot of PowerPoint slides and sent them back, right? I didn't do any change, okay? So that's not free, okay? Only the review is free. Okay? So that's what it is. So I will take you over back to Suresh now, and who will introduce the topic for the day, okay? Which I think is very, very relevant, and he'll explain why, and also then our speaker. Over to you, Suresh.
Thank you so much, Sandeep. Like Sandeep was always put on, absolute scientist at heart. Last time, like Sandeep mentioned, the PowerPoint review that we did, we also got database templates, and it's so glad I'm so glad to note that so many of us, so many of you actually got back to us saying, "Can you do a review of our database?" Because the magic lies in the database. So amazing tips that we followed last time. The offer still remains open, and with that, I talk about a topic called occupational health and safety. We move from our to the value additions of our building. Like Sandeep mentioned, topic of the day, occupational health and safety. How boring is that? I mean, how is it relevant? But you know what? The thing when we get out of lockdown, if at all anything is relevant most in an open air office is this topic, whether it's a two-man company or a 2,000-man company. And with that, it's my pleasure, honor, Sandeep, with your help, let me get the man on stage, the one and only Swapnil Thakre. Mr. Thakre, how
Yeah,
are you?
I did it exactly at the right spot. That's it. Cool, man. I should be in video production. Yeah. Okay.
Can you
Go
also
ahead.
see that A.R. Rahman
Yeah.
music behind the background music?
Good
Swapnil,
good
pleasure.
afternoon.
Good afternoon,
Swapnil.
Swapnil. Come on,
Good
stage.
afternoon,
Yeah.
good afternoon, guys. Great to be here. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, okay.
Wish me even
So,
pleasure.
Swapnil, yeah, Swapnil, just before we throw it open to you, I was listening to Suresh talking about, and we said that we would talk about occupational health and safety. See, the thing is, a lot of people don't realize that, we will end up in a situation where we will be going back to work probably after close to about almost 2 months. So what's the first thing that you need to do? I mean, everybody talks about, how to wash your hands and how to wear a mask and, what to do and dry your clothes in the sun and things like that. But what about the work? The work is going to start. We're all going to get back to work. So what happens when we walk into our office? What's the first thing, that we need to keep track and we need to do? Nobody ever thought that they'll keep their office space shut for like 60 days, The maximum it would be shut for like maybe 3 days of Diwali, but that's just about it. But when you come back after 60 days, it's a different story. Do you switch on the air conditioning? I mean, what do you do? So I'm glad you volunteered and thank you for being here. And I think we'll throw it open to Suresh to ask the first question to you. And please go ahead, Suresh.
Okay, Sandeep, you answered questions. Between the question and the answer, when there is a pause, it makes it so interesting. And the pause is going to be filled up like this. It's my pleasure to introduce Swapnil Thakre, somebody who is an engineer who's actually contributed not to one, not to two, not to three, but around 200 companies, from small, medium enterprises to the L&Ts and the Tatas and the nuclear power corporations of the world. Someone who professes the importance of process, of quality, of systems, and not that it has to be audited and being compliant. It's just that it's so very, very magical. When you cross the road, you look on the right, you look on the left, then you cross the road. Simple common sense made into process. Swapnil Thakre, the person who stands for audit in environment, in food, in standards and processes of the companies, and today's topic of occupational health and safety. With that, Swapnil, for all the fun and camaraderie, the great work that you do, and the hours you spend in auditing and make organizations improve themselves, close hats off to you, buddy. With
Thank you.
Sandeep's question to you, Swapnil, what is occupational health? And your smile tells me something is going to come on to me.
So first of all, Leah, let me thank you for that elaborated, it sounded like an elaborated marriage proposal. I mean, believe me, there will be a day when you will have marketing consultants for marriage proposals as well. So all the best, guys. Great introduction. Thank you so much.
Okay, the next question, Suresh. Yeah. Anyway, please, Swapnil, please tell us, what is it that we need to do? And our audience would really love to know, more in terms of what is it that the first things that we need to do, and, how do we keep ourselves healthy and safe in the workplace?
Yeah. So I think this topic was never so relevant and so important till this COVID time happened. And so for everybody, what's occupational safety? When we are at home, it is something like a personal health and safety. But as we will move into our offices, in our workplaces, on our project sites, we come under the domain of occupational health and safety. The health and safety practice which we have to follow, which we want our employees to follow, which we want our visitors to follow within our occupational domain. So that's what occupational health safety is all about. Yeah. And to talk about how does it happen? So like, as I said, whether you talk about the project sites, whether you talk about the temporary sites, whether you are traveling for the business purpose, everything comes under the domain of occupational health and safety. And for that, we need to have certain practices in place before we get the shutter up. That's what I can talk about right now. Yeah.
Thank you, Swapnil. As you answered that question of occupational health and safety and its relevance, tell me something. Me and Sandeep spoke about it briefly. The relevance, the office opens up now, and it's going to be a long haul right now, right? It's not that lockdown is over. We're going to open our office. Offices could be in a tower, it could be in a factory, it could be different co-working spaces. So, what is the steps that has to be taken for businesses, whether it's factory or commercial office, to look at first? The first thing when the key is put on the door, what has to be, apart from, of course, the jadu to be done and the testing to be done, but what is the thing that one should look at? Over to you.
Yeah. So like you have a physical key to open your office, right? I have come up with something called as a Mind Act key. This is something like a master key which you need to have before you open your offices or your work premises. This is something called as a 4P model. I talk about as we go into this. I mean, we are part of this gravitational planet. As we go, we talk about top to down approach. So I talk about planning. Second is your preparation, which is an amalgamation. So planning is completely a mind activity. Second is preparation. Now you can debate that this is again a part of planning, but this is a combination of your mind and your act together. Then propagate. Propagate is your communication. And third is perseverance. I could have chosen practice, but I'm choosing perseverance because only consistency will give you the result. So you need to have this 4P mind act key ready before you get your shutter up. And as you can see a kind of a pyramid. Can you see a pyramid here? Yeah. So today we can't travel to the the pyramids of Giza, Egypt, but this is the pyramid of your business operation, which you need to watch before you unlock your business operations. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You.
So
thank you. So
yeah. Okay. So it's very nice, this plan, prepare, propagate, and perseverance. But tell me one thing, Swapnil, we are already locked out of our offices. Okay. So what happens? A lot of us didn't plan all of this. I mean, this is something unprecedented. Nobody in our entire lifestyle, in our lifetimes, this has ever happened to any one of us in our lifetime. So the thing is, how does one, now what do we do? Okay, we are already locked out. I can understand we should have done certain things, but what do we do now when we get back? What are the first things we do? So please, I believe you have some more stuff to tell us in terms of what is it that we need to do right now.
So yeah, as it says, value addition. So I have some value addition tips which I would like to share with all of you. The first one is, as I said, is the 4P model. Now here, when we talk about that is plan, prepare, propagate, and perseverance. So you're going to plan your manpower, your machinery, your methodology, because everything will need to have a relook. You need to have a relook at each and every attributes of your business. So the planning of manpower, planning of your machineries, planning of methodologies, what you need to change as far as methodologies are concerned, planning your money, again, very important. You need to budget. One of the budgets which you need to add during this post-lockdown phase is the hygiene budget. You not only need to have a personal hygiene in place, but you also need to have an office hygiene in place, with a point about, we cannot now keep the cleaning aspects to when we thought so. Now we'll have to plan it. You need to plan and clean and have a proper disinfection in your office. Need to clean up your HVACs, need to clean up your air purification systems. All these things now need to be done on a more planned base rather than, when we thought, like, as you said, only at the Diwali time or maybe at the Dasera time. It won't work like that. You'll need to have a proper plan in place for that. Plan your inspections, plans your instruments. So everything need to be planned. The prepare, as I said, is a part of your mind and act. You need to prepare your blueprint here. Which are the resources I need to talk about for executing this plan? Which are the vendors I need to talk about to execute this plan? So that is what your preparation is talking about. Then you talk about propagate, where I gave a 10%. Communicate, communicate, communicate. You need to propagate and communicate your plan to your employees, to your vendors, to your stakeholders, to your visitors. Everybody need to know that what is your post-lockdown plan to operate at the 100% efficiency. And then perseverance. Very, very important. You may practice it for a day or two or a week or two. It won't work. You need to be consistent and perseverance at it. And that's why I give 50% of the weightage for the execution so that you get the results as you plan. Yeah. So that is the first takeaway which I can talk about is the 4P model. The next one is emergency. Everybody plans for the plan A, but then there can be certain emergencies which can happen, right? So you need to have an emergency response plan in place. And especially, as I said, when you are 3 people organization or a 300 or 3,000 plus organization, there can be emergencies in place. As we are all aware, few days back, you got the Vizag case happening, right? Similarly, you need to have an emergency plan even for a court. What if you identify a COVID affected person in your office. What are you going to do? So you need to have an emergency response plan. Okay. And I would say keep at least 3 basic attributes ready as far as emergency response plan. First, identify what kind of emergencies can happen in your organization. Okay. Number 2, at least list out the emergency contact details and have a prior communication with them, whether it's hospital, whether it's a fire brigade, whether it's your local health authorities, whether it is the police department. At least have that communication list be ready. And third, most important, educate your team who is supposed to do what, who is going to communicate, who is going to evacuate, who is going to communicate with the fire brigade, who is going to communicate with the local health authorities for the isolation, who is going to arrange the ambulance for else, there might be a bless the mess kind of situation where you may have all the people doing all the things and you don't want to have, you want such kind of situation, right? That's going to be catastrophic further to the emergency situation. So have the emergency plan. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like pretty much, you need to have like a checklist for all of this, right? Because all of these things don't really come out of the hat, and it doesn't really strike everyone. So we need to have some kind of a checklist. So what do you propose in terms of, how do people go about making this checklist?
So as you say that, Sandeep, what comes to me, Swapnil, is that the key is there, the office door is opened, but we might just want to get in there and be very eager to get on with our business, which has got locked out, because anxiety would be there, aspiration would be there, worry would be there, but the little threshold which is there when you enter the office, that might just trip you. And what you mentioned now of the 4P model and the emergency response plan reminds me that you need to have the threshold right, Swapnil, right, in terms of preparation, that this becomes your second or the master key when the office is opened, after which only you should think of business planning or business growth. Am I correct, Swapnil? In terms of the key important area. And is it Swapnil that small companies say, "Humko audit thodi karna hai, compliance thodi karna hai. We don't want certification. So it's okay, common sense hai. We know we have to clean the office." So, I mean, why would we want to look at this process when I don't look at certification? Common sense, I know. How much of a risk is that mindset?
I got a lot of that too. When I put this message out to a few of my friends and colleagues, they turned around and said, business continuity and business, this is not for us. Occupational health, safety, and all. This is not for us. These are big companies. We are a 2-man company or a 4-man company. So this is not for us. So I think this is something which we need to consciously change. Right. So coming back to our emergency response in terms of a checklist. Yeah.
See, one thing I would like to add here. Yeah, one thing I would like to add here is that
just once again, there are people here from different walks of life. There are doctors. There are so many of us who have come on board and visiting this show. Any of you want to put in any points here? Please do feel to chat in and put the queries. We'll try and answer as much as we can, because this is a very relevant topic that is going to come up. Over to you, Swapnil.
Yeah, see, one thing I would like to add here is that one thing is for sure, that this pandemic is not ending so soon. Yeah, we are already faced the shock and awe situation where we suddenly had to lock down our business and move away from it. You never know, that might happen again if proper precautions and proper emergency plans are not in place. So whether you are a 3-people organization, whether you are a 3,000 people organization, whether certification compliance, it really doesn't matter. What matters is the safety of the people who are working in your organization. What matters is the continuity of your business. What matters is that you are able to circulate or turn the wheel of the economics of your business, which is most important. And I think in that, there is absolutely no discrimination whether you're a small organization or a big organization. You need to do. That's how it is. Yeah.
Very well put. Very relevant. Thank you. Yeah, move on with your other.
So I mentioned about the 3 points. So I've done with the first one, which is the 4P model, the master key, the Mind Act key to open your business operation. Number 2, have the plan B, that's your emergency response plan, ready, so that you are not being finding somewhere, in case there is some kind of an emergency health situation identified in your office. The third one, again, most important. Now I'll tell you, lot of MSMEs which I interacted with, I found that they had some information ready, they had that information on the servers, but they were not able to access the business continuity. The business has to go on. Very, very important. So this is the right time. If you have never ever thought so, please think now. Yeah. Nobody thought so that there will be, people will be striked, in their offices in the World Trade. So have the business continuity management plan be ready. Simple 3 tips to have your BCM ready. Number 1, identify your information assets. Identify them and ensure that you have a proper backing up or the mirror of that information. So in case of any emergency or any lockdown, it can be accessed. Number 2, now this is a challenge which I've seen in a lot of industries right now, is information is there on the server, but people are not able to access that. So ensure that your key people have the right to access that information so that they will be able to operate, they will be able to see the data, they will be able to interact and process some of the customer requirement. And third, most important, if there are some process, if you have a plant B or a plant C, a location B or a location C to operate, you are in a safer hands. But if you don't have, then at least have a good vendor management right now itself, so that you know what are the processes you can outsource and still be there in the business, still continue with your product and services offerings. So ensure you have identified the information assets, ensure you have the right people, the access to that information so they can do the processing. And number 3, identify the vendors and have a good relationship developed with them, so that if you need to outsource and continue with your business, you are able to do that. So that's the 3 tips which I can share about, is the 4P model. Second is the emergency plan, response plan. And third is your business continuity plan in place. So whether you're 3 people or a 3,000 people organization, have that so that none of the pandemic can stop your business. None of the business should not get locked down. Physical premises may get, your business should not get locked down. That's how it is.
And yeah? It's interesting that you say that, because a lot of MSMEs, and professionals, you see, it's a simple thing. For accounts, they would probably use, something like a tally or something like that. And what would happen is all the data is there, but it's there on, a particular machine, which is there in their office. So as a result, what happens is the information is there on the machine, but you can't access that machine because nobody thought of putting it on a server in the cloud, for instance. Okay.
Correct.
So now if you have to file returns, maybe it's extended, maybe it's whatever, or you need some data or you need something, you can't even do that much. I mean, it's a simple thing like tally, for crying out loud, and nobody thought that they would do that. So it's pretty relevant from that perspective that, a business continuity plan for such emergencies. And frankly, none of us really thought that this would ever happen. I mean, nobody thought that we'd be locked out of our own offices, forcefully, not even voluntarily, forcefully locked out of our own offices for like almost close to 60 days. It's crazy, and I think it's very relevant that we start thinking in terms of what really we need to do and think differently in terms of how we do our business.
And what's also happened, what Swapnil said, is in terms of the bonding between the various people, constituents, employer and employee, is also going to happen, because there is a sense of I stand for you, you stand for me, common well-being and togetherness is also kind of in form. Following this process also enables nice bonding, which leads to productivity and safety, of course. Right, so
Yeah.
Swapnil, so with that, you got me, right? What I said. Are there some points which you need to take up, Sandeep, before we go on to the we request and prod Swapnil to give some free gifts?
Yeah, sure. See, this is what we are waiting for. So we are looking for the tips. We got all the information. I always tell people, getting things done like this, there are a couple of issues. First, we need to understand, and that's the understanding that Swapnil gave us in terms of, why is it relevant? Why do we need to do it? What should be done? So that the understanding is there. The next thing that we need to do is, okay, so now that I've understood I need to do it, what do I do? How do I go about it? So is there a start point, or do I have to, join some course and learn something more? Or is there something I can do, as Suresh, we often say, can we hit the road running? So Swapnil, can you give us something and give our audience something so that it becomes easier for us, so that, we are not caught off guard with something like this again?
Okay, absolutely. So as a proud citizen of a land of free kadhi pattas and that extra puri after that pani puri, there has to be something which has to be there. So for all the viewers who are here, who are logged in right now, and once you send an email to ValueAdditions@gmail, the email ID which they have, valueadditions@gmail.com. Once you send an email, we'll give you a free template of how to make an emergency response plan. So we will share with you a template of how to make an emergency response plan. So you can customize and make it for your office needs as per the dimension and the number of people. we will provide you with a free template for preparing a business continuity plan. Okay, it's a free template. Okay, standard template we'll share with you, and you can prepare a BCM plan or a BCP for your office, again customized to your need. Okay, we will provide you the template. You will need to do the hard work of customizing it as per your needs. And third is, I am going to have an elaborated session webinar on this topic on 22nd of February at 5 p.m., 5 to 6 p.m. So log in for your tickets, please email for your tickets, and please be my guest over there to have more elaborated discussion about how to go about in the post-lockdown scenario, mainly from the business operations point of it. Yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's how it is.
Yeah.
Correction,
So-
yeah,
so
it is
that-
22nd May. Yeah, Swapnil, 22nd May is when you're having it next week.
22nd May, Friday, yeah, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Yeah.
Super. The sport on the Kadipata and the extra puri is there in the form of template. And it's, like you said, hard work, but it's so important to do this hard work sooner, faster, because that's all about smart work. That's the core of your business continuity, right? So get the templates
Yeah.
to one. And Sandeep, over to you.
So,
Second last
yeah,
comment.
so just for the audience, you see the email ID which is flashed on screen. So that's the email ID. You send us an email, and Swapnil is going to send you back an emergency response plan and a business continuity plan. So these are simple standard templates which you can use. You'll of course have to go through it, customize it for your particular business, see what's pertinent and applicable for you in your scenario, and then of course use that as a checklist to make sure that we're not caught, to use another phrase, caught with your pants down next time. Of course, this time we really didn't have any time. At least before Diwali you can plan. I'm going to shut the office for 4 days or 5 days or whatever days. So you plan. This is like you stop going, and the government said from tomorrow nobody's going anywhere. So that's it. So we didn't have time to plan. So that's something that was really very challenging, and caught us really off guard. But yes, we need to have such plans in place, and great, Swapnil, that you will share a template for all of those who are watching. Please send us that email ID. If you're not going to send us an email ID, send us an email. We're not going to send it to you. No, we are not posting it here on Facebook. Absolutely not. So if anybody has any question, like are you going to post it here on Facebook? The answer is no. Yeah, go ahead.
Great. So we, as the clock keeps ticking, the important aspect, like Swapnil said, in terms of the emergency response and business continuity. And you know what? A lot of us who today are looking at these aspects, it's so important to get into the context of making this happen. So I really appreciate this coming on board. I'm sure as we move forward, occupational health and safety, not only at the workplace, but for our environment, for our food, for our things around us, because there's a lot of awareness which has happened about our surroundings and about the ecosystem. So all of them will become much more valid. And in the process, I think we will offer good quality products and services, because our mindset will not be one of exploring and contributing rather than exploiting. So that's what Swapnil, your talk has done to our wonderful audience who's come on board. This will be live now, and obviously will be there on this webpage for times to come. So it's a great value add. Please feel free to write up any point of time. We're dedicated to the cause of giving proactive, simple steps for business growth, like what happened to me. And to top it, the gift also. So write to us at our value additions. We are actually a minute to go, and with Sandeep, last comments, and Swapnil, last comments before we end and say good evening and good day.
Yeah, okay. So I believe, this is something which is, like I said at the start of the program, a lot of people ask whether this is relevant for them or no, and I think this is relevant for everyone. We really need to think, times have really changed. A lot of people say, when will things go back to normal? I don't even know whether we want things to go back to normal, because we're actually got habituated to this. You don't realize that you've got habituated to this. You spend a lot of time doing what you're doing right now, and you probably gotten yourself into a different groove right now. But yes, you will need to go back to work, and we will need to do that. And once we do that, we will need to take care of all of these things. So yes, Swapnil, thank you very much for joining us today. And a few last closing sentences from you, and then Suresh will wind it up for us.
Thank you, Sandeep, and thank you, Suresh. I mean, it's absolutely fun and pleasure to be here, and I just hope it adds value to your viewers, and time for the viewers to act, and we are there to support you. And as I said, lockdown, no lockdown, the business should not lock down, the business should continue. That's the motto. That's how it has to be. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you,
Cool.
Swapnil. So all the very best, guys, as we come out of lockdown into a phase which is so daunting and at the same time exciting. But make sure that the continuity is there, responses are there, checks and balances place. And Swapnil, amazing stand you've taken for ensuring quality systems. It has become so much of a core function now, no more as a luxury. It's become so essential. Wish you all the best and more power to you as you transform MSMEs across India and the world, of course. Thank you so much, Swapnil. Sandeep, as usual, absolutely spot on as always, and on this wonderful
Thank
hour.
you, guys. Okay, and I think we did exactly 30 minutes. Okay, so it's 3:30 on the clock, and we'll wish our audience goodbye. Please go and watch other webinars. You know, there are lots of them. So that's why we decided to keep this one just 30 minutes, brief, short, to the point, no gyan, nothing else. Just what you need to know, because your attention span, believe me, is only this much. That's it. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, guys. Good day. Thank you for joining in.